Welcome back to Behind the Gloves. I'm Gaz Singh and I'm joined by WBO Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Mr. Semperfe Jamel Herring. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. I just want to get straight into it, really. Two words for you, Carl Frampton. You had so many, not so many, but you had a few other choices. Obviously, you've got Shakur Stevenson, who's moved up. You've got Nakathiri over from Nambia, that's up there in the top five. Obviously, Valdez is fighting Berchelt. So why Carl Frampton? He's not your mandatory, but why Mr.
We had Carl Frampton on the slate long before. Like I said, all the two individuals you pointed out. Like I said, Shakur is also a great individual, great fighter. He's definitely gonna be the future of boxing, in my opinion. But like I said, we like the build up between me and Carl Frampton happened over a year ago now. This is long before, I think, around that time Shakur was still fighting at featherweight. And at that point in time, I took care of my mandatory at the time also, which was Lamont Roach. So, Top Rank, MTK, Global, and myself, and Carl Frampton, we all were on board for that fight because we felt at the time, Carl Frampton is still a big name in a big fight.
So obviously, Carl Frampton, do you think he's the toughest fight of your career? Does he do anything that worries you?
Um, I don't know. I can't really say he does anything that worries me because, like I said, when you have a great team in camp, you prepare for anything. You prepare for the worst. I think he's probably the biggest name on my resume, if I could say that. But I can't really say if he'll be the toughest fight because there's other fights. You never know until you step into the ring. It could be a long fight. It could be a quick night. Early night. So I can't really say, but I will say that he's probably maybe the more experienced fighters on my resume and the ones that have the bigger names.
Are these the type of fights that excite you? As well as obviously you got other options there. You got another champion over at Top Rank, but
Oh
these
yeah,
names, is that what you're yearning for now?
definitely. I mean, because when you want to leave, the game down the road, you want people to look back on your resume to see who you fought. You want guys to have name. You want to have names in the resume that's recognizable. I mean, there's a lot of good fighters out there. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good fighters out there, but it's not. Some of them don't have maybe the name or marketing behind them, such as like Carl Frampton. I mean, he's won titles in two different weight classes. So you got to look at things like that. But yeah, these are definitely the fights that fighters actually they yearn for and it excites them. So I'm definitely said this is great to even have this opportunity.
So obviously this is going to be your first fight as a professional outside of the United States.
Right.
You're over here in London. How are you feeling about that, traveling abroad and fighting away from home? I know there's not going to be fans there, but they're still
Right.
out your comfort zone, right?
I mean, not really, because as an amateur, you learn, you travel everywhere. Obviously, people know that I competed in London already. I competed in London twice, actually. As an amateur, I fought my good friend, Josh Taylor, back in 2011 in London. Me and Josh had a good fight. I competed in the London Olympic Games in 2012. So I'm familiar with London. I'm actually happy to go back. I mean, it sucks that I can't get that great UK atmosphere. But people also realize that I was willing to go to Belfast. I was willing to go to his backyard to make the fight. I never did. There's not one interview you can find out there where I complain and moan about traveling anywhere. I don't mind the traveling part. Like, and plus, like now, really, when you look at it, it's a closed circuit, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter where the fight's at. It's basically it's a 50-50. No one has any real backing behind them in terms of that the dynamic. But yeah, going to London, the only thing we have to worry about is basically getting acclimated in time, of course. But other than that, as long as they have a ring and gloves, it doesn't matter.
How soon before the fight you looking to get over? How much time are you
My team is a minimum of 10 days, with 2 weeks to 10, in that window, so we can get well acclimated with the time difference and things of that nature. But like I said, I was excited when I was told I was going to London because, like I said, I enjoy the people there. They've been very great and supportive. Even Irish fans as well have been very great, and I was looking forward to going to Belfast as well, northern Belfast. But yeah, to me, like I said, once the bell rings, you get tunnel vision and all that other stuff goes out the window. You don't really doesn't really matter where you're at. You know, you're there for the moment. You're there for a job. You got to handle business.
Last time out, obviously you defended your title against Jonathan Quendo, and
Right.
you got that cut to your eye. Has that healed up okay? That not giving you any problems in
It
camp?
was crazy. I'm glad you brought that up. It wasn't so much of the cut when I went to the doctors. It was so much of the eye itself. You know, I had a scratch cornea, and it basically it took a while for that to heal. The cut that takes maybe a week. I think with the blurred vision and things, you know, with the eye itself being scratched, it took a while. And then at one point, the doctors thought that they thought I had a broken orbital bone because, like I said, yeah. And we seen, like I said, with Dwight and you know, guys like, you know, Kell Brook who suffered injuries like that. Luckily, the fight was actually stopped when it happened because, like I said, the doctor said it could have got worse. But even then, you know, I fought to get better because I still wanted to make this fight, you know. So I did everything in my power to make sure that I did everything correctly that the doctors asked, and everything is healed up right. Another thing people forget to also look at was, you know, I was fighting COVID-19 at the time, and it took a toll on my body. And when you also add in the fact that they kept postponing the fight like 3 times, I had 3 different training camps, so that took a toll on me in terms of basically overtrained, and then trying to fight COVID, and which weakens your body as well. So it was just a lot going on. But now you can see it in me now. I feel great. I was actually, I woke up today 8 pounds from the weight, and I still have like 4. Yeah, I was like 130. I posted it up. I was like 138, you know, and a half, and you know, in terms of weight. So that tells you right there when you're healthy, and like you said, for these fight, you know, we have a fight that fighters get up for.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it bring out the best in you. Like usually, I'm at this weight maybe a week prior to the fight, but I'm like I still got 4 weeks, and but I don't have to now. I have to worry about making weight because you know as much as I will that the whole thing, the story was, oh, he struggles making weight and things like that nature. But no, I have a nutritionist, I have a strength coach, I'm healthy, I'm not fighting COVID-19, and that's why when you said does he do anything that worries me, I honestly no because I know when I'm at my best and I'm healthy, you know, I can do whatever I put my mind to.
So I know he's kind of made reference to it as well, and I'm going to make reference to it as well. But you've put out there that you've done a lot of work with Crawford, like you've done a lot of
Right.
sparring with him, and obviously he's much bigger than Carl Frampton.
Right.
So can you just like run through me and the people who probably don't get it, but what do you take from sparring someone like Crawford to prepare for Frampton?
Good. I'm glad you actually. Let me just also say that I also have sparring partners of his stature. You know, 5'5", you know that. So I have those guys. But when you have a guy like Terrence Crawford, why not take advantage of that experience factor? Like you said earlier, you know, we mentioned earlier, this fight it can be a short night or it can go 12 rounds. But so you have to prepare for that long run, that long haul. You know, you have to prepare for a grueling fight. And when you have a guy like Bud in your corner he's on the opposite side of the ring, pushing you and making you, you know, making you bite down and fight. And you know, because like I said, you pointed out we're both boxers, but you know, Carl Frampton may bring a different aspect. So I brought somebody else who's going to bring a different aspect. You know, Bud is not going to, and trust me, he's not in there by all means to take it easy on me because what do I gain out of him taking it light on me? No, because you seen, you know, I could be a big guy as well. You know, I mean, you seen the pictures of me standing next to him, so I can hold my own weight. Like I said, when I'm confident, motivated, and healthy, I enjoy sparring with Bud. So he basically brought in the whole experience aspect. You know, he's stronger than me. He's bigger than me, but you know, you never know what Carl Frampton might bring. So just in case, I need to have my mind prepared for a tough, grueling fight. And then of course, you have my other sparring partners that help me with the boxing aspect and with the what to see from a smaller guy in there with me. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen recently Oscar Valdez was sparring Canelo Alvarez, you know, for his big fight. So it's like one of those things. If you have that experience in your camp, why not take a full advantage of it? I mean, I'm pretty sure Miguel Berchelt is not rehydrating up to
Yeah,
160 or 170, 180 pounds. But you know, I mean, if you have a top world champion also in your camp, take full advantage of that. I mean, you'd be stupid not to take advantage of that.
Is Bud coming with you?
He might, Bud, like I said, if you've seen Bud, always just pops up at my fight. So he just might book a plane, book a ticket and fly overseas. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll really tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up. But like I said, I mean, I always have a support with me no matter what. If anything, he'll give me a call before and after the fight. But I would not be surprised if he pops up to show up in attendance.
And just give me a prediction on the fight, man. Go, give me something.
I look forward. I feel like I'm going to win. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's not, and there's nothing against Carl Frampton at all. Like you said, like I pointed out before, I like Carl. He's a good guy, but I think that that this weight class, at least for me, is my natural element. Or people even say, at times, if you've seen it in the past, I'm a big super featherweight, as they say, but it's just like the weight class for me is natural. Like I said, I'm already 8 pounds away from the fight weight. I'm not sucked. My face is not sucked in. I'm not drained. I have plenty of energy in me, and I'm still going hard in training camp. But I just feel like I have more importantly. I just think I have that more hunger because Carl Frampton, no matter what happens with the fight, Carl Frampton has done a tremendous job in his career, and I feel even if he still can leave on a high note because he's done a lot of great things. But as for me, the hunger comes from I still have things that I want to prove and I still want to achieve and do in my own career. So that's what drives me to be successful in this fight. And like I said, I had no issues. I had no issue at all taking this fight wherever it was at. It could be right down the block from his house, and I still would have took the fight because, like I said, I wanted this fight because I'm hungry and I'm confident of beating him.
So I'm glad you mentioned that you feel like you've got a lot more to kind of achieve in a sport, and you wanna grow more.
Right.
The super featherweight division is probably one of the divisions that hasn't been unified for a while, and you've got other champions there. Obviously, you got Valdez Belchet. I'm glad you brought that up as well. They're fighting, I think, a week before you guys. Will
But
there?
the as well.
I don't wanna jump the gun. I don't wanna assume that you're looking past Frampton, but the rest of 2021 are those the fights you're looking at? Those big champions.
You know what? That's the reason. Part of that reason is why I am fighting Carl Frampton. Because if you really look at the history when I won the title, you've seen it. Miguel Burchell, he jumped in the ring, and I thought that was the next fight that was going to be made, a unification fight. So I was all for it. But then he went a different direction. Okay, fine. I thought let me just handle my mandatory, which is Lamont Roach, because he fought a week before I fought. So I thought again we was on the road to collision to making that fight again. And then after he beat I believe um, Jason Sosa, I believe it was he he went on to Valdez, talking about making a Valdez fight. And I thought at the time also that I maybe had a chance of fighting Valdez because remember Valdez was moving up from featherweight, which made him my next mandatory. But Valdez decided that he would take the Burchell route, which I respect is part of the business. So that's the reason why I went to my team about making a fight with Carl Frampton because, like you pointed out earlier, it's all about legacy at times and the bigger names. And at that time, there was no one there that I can really match up with that had a name. I mean, you got Burchell and Valdez. That's a good fight, and those are two good names. So how do I keep up and compete with that? And that's when the Carl Frampton aspect came in. So of course, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to, unify and fight other champions in the division, but it's just like it seemed like you said, it's been so long that we had a unification in this division alone, and it's like everyone has their own agenda. So, with that being said, if I can't unify, don't be surprised if I, plan on moving up to grab another world title because, like I said, I want to build my resume in terms of championship fights and having championship belts on around my waist.
Mm. So what's your prediction for that fight? Very good fight that is matchup. Very good.
Very good fight. Very good. This is how I look at it because I know how it feels to try to go through a training camp and fight through COVID-19, and we know Miguel Burchell has he fell victim to it as well recently. But I will say, if he shows any sign, if he's fully healthy and cleared or anything, I believe that because him being the bigger guy and he's been at super featherweight for
Oh,
years now it seems. So he's the natural. He's the natural at the it's his weight. I believe obviously, he's probably the favorite to pick, but Valdez, he obviously sees something in Bachot's in game that he can expose. And he's been training really hard. He's been training really hard. And I don't have any animosity against both of those gentlemen. I wish them both the best. I would have loved to fight either one of them, but like I said, it's part of the business. But I don't know. It's tough to call, but you would have to lean towards Bachot because he is the natural bigger guy who's been around at super featherweight for a while. But like I said, you can't kind of Oscar Valdez out because even when he look like he's down and out and hurt, he always comes back with a surprise and pulls it out.
And the last kind of boxing question I want to ask you is obviously you mentioned earlier when I was talking about the list of fighters you could have chosen from. Shakur, obviously Stevenson has now moved up, and
Right.
it looks like whoever wins out of you and Frampton will have to face him next.
Right.
Is that a fight you'd entertain, or would you kind of divert your attention to getting another champion?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, as a fighter, what do you think about him as
Yeah,
a fighter?
I think Shakur's a hell of a fighter. I'm not going to, like I said, I said it before he was in my mentor that he will be one of the future stars in boxing, because he has that hunger, he has that skill talent. But like I said, I know MTK Global and like I said, Top Rank or my promoter Top Rank have mentioned that fight, of course, and others. So we just had to basically see what's the best route for me, of course. But we gotta take care. We gotta get rid of Carl Frampton before any of those things happen. But like I said, anything's almost is possible. Anything is possible. Like I said, he's hungry. He wants to do great things, and obviously, like I say, he is the mandatory. But first, foremost, we gotta get past Carl Frampton before we even get to see that any of that happen.
Fair. And I just want to talk to you about, obviously, we haven't spoke to you on our channel about it, but a few months ago, as you mentioned already, you've got an advisory deal with MTK Global, and by far they're becoming one of the biggest, like, kind
Oh
of
yeah.
stables of boxes, whether that's advisory deals or management or promotion, literally in the world. So how did that come about, and how do they fit into your kind of team, and what do they do for
It's
you?
funny. It's funny if you ask it because, like, literally after my last fight, I didn't know what direction I was going. Like I said, I was just not feeling well about the sport and what was going on. Then my body wasn't feeling right because, like I said, I was going through the whole COVID and everything. But I had a close friend of mine. He just reached out and said, "Hey, MTK Global wants to speak with you about working." And I was kind of surprised because it came out of nowhere. But I got on the phone. I want to give a shout out to Jamie Collin. Cause I speak to Jamie just about every other day now. He's been a great help. He's been a tremendous help. Just getting me where I'm at. Because without them, I don't think this fight could have happened. To be honest with you, I don't think without MTK Global, this fight probably would never have happened. But like I said, that's what I mentioned about not just the whole mandatory thing, but they have also given me a broad of idea about the options that are also not only great for my legacy but lucrative as well. So it's great to have, yeah, like you said, that they're literally going global. They're literally so
Big
it's great to have those guys. And like I said, they treat me very well. They're not biased. They're very honest and they're fair. And I enjoy working with them, and I hope to continue working with them after this fight for as long as I possibly can.
And the last thing I want to kind of finish is obviously you've been a Marine, you've been abroad, you've been in hard situations, you've had drama in your family life. Obviously, not everything's always gone well. You've
Right.
contracted COVID-19. Have you got a message for anybody who might be kind of struggling mentally, or that might actually have COVID, who might watch this and think I needed that?
Oh, for anyone who has COVID, I just say, continue staying strong and taking it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time and continue going strong. If anyone is going through anything mentally, I always tell people, it's not over until you say it's over. No matter what people may try to throw at you or try to bring you down, or you may think that there's an obstacle that you can't, you know, or get over. You know, nothing's impossible. If you have the will to do it, go out there and do it. Improve everyone wrong, and not only prove every people wrong, but do it for yourself. Just do it for yourself and continue going strong. But that's what got me here. I mean, you've seen you. I'm pretty sure you follow my career. I've been counted out plenty of times. I've been the underdog. But when I my first world title fight with Ito, I was an underdog, but we seen how that fight, look, it was so one-sided. And that's because, I went out there and I just believed in me. I tell people all the time, just believe in yourself. And if when you work as hard as you possibly can, you can go out there and do whatever you want to do.
All right, that's kind words, man. That's a good place to end. Just let everybody know your socials, man, before we finish this up.
All right, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jamel Herring, all one word, very simple. And plus, anyone who sees me out there on social media, I interact with everybody. I'm not a diva. I enjoy speaking with the people. I enjoy speaking with the fans, supporters, even those who root against me. I even take time, to chat with them. But I'm very fan friendly, and like I said, thank you for having me on, and I appreciate those who support me out there as well.
All right, Mr. Herring, thank you very much. We wish you the best of luck on February 27th. Hopefully, we'll catch up with you fight week. If not, then we'll catch up with you after.
We'll talk again. We will talk again.
Yeah. Catch up soon, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Take care.
Hey fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else